don't think it ain't changing nothing. Don't think that people ain't getting caught on. Because guess what? They're catching on. Look at, like, even Matt was reading on the other live, how many people were getting sued? How many banks are being sued right now for securities fraud, for all of these things? Companies are going down because of securities fraud, violation of rights, right? So don't think people, it's changing.
Yeah,
so
Matt,
this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why we got to keep doing what we're doing and keep showing. Because at the end of the day, I've worked in marketing for a lot of years, and people ain't gonna believe until they see. And when they see you out here living, and when your family members will be like, "How did you get that BMW free of charge?" And then you're gonna be like, "Hey, I was trying to tell you." They gonna catch on.
Well, yeah,
but the thing is, the ones that know it now, the ones that are hearing us and listening to us, we got to start putting one thing in action. Take one thing and start putting it in action.
And Matt mentioned something earlier about NESARA and NESARA, JASARA, and everything that's happening. And one of the things that I did was I got me a book on banking terms. I started trying to build my financial literacy with Black's Law's Dictionary. I've got the banking codes. I've got the UCC codes. And in my personal life, I started turning and converting my fiat, into silver. I couldn't really invest in gold at the level that I wanted to. But I started learning investments and even delving into crypto and trade. I'm trying to get it together. That's for sure.
That's all that matters, though. You know what I'm saying? You're trying, and you know what I'm saying? You don't want to overwhelm yourself by doing too many things at once either, which that's common sense, I hope, for most people.
What we should do right now is I've mentioned it. If I've mentioned it once, I've mentioned it 100 times. We should all be pulling up the Bill of Exchange Act of 1882. And if you would just go down to chapter 5 and read the first couple sentences, you will understand why everybody should be getting really, really familiar with that. Because everybody keeps saying in here that they're engaged in a consumer credit transaction. How many of you have expressed that on the paper? According to UCC 3-114, anything written on a contract supersedes anything typed or printed. And how many of you actually know how to turn that commercial paper into consumer credit transaction paper? And it is right there in black and white in the Bill of Exchange Act of 1882. You got to go to, it'll pop up as a Canadian website. It's the Canadian government actually publishes it. The United States government won't publish it for a reason. They need you to be a debtor. They need you to assume the position of a debtor. And so they don't publish it. At least I haven't found it published in the United States.
You say UCC what?
UCC 3-114. 114. It says anything handwritten supersedes anything typed or printed on a contract. That's because only man can write, and man is superior to commercial activity. But anything handwritten over anything typed or printed takes precedent. And then when you read Henry R. Gibson's Suits and Chancery, it tells you any handwritten pleading supersedes any typed or printed pleading. Period. So there's power in writing. Plus, you won't. When you handwrite, you won't write 5 pages of shit. When you handwrite stuff, it's gonna be short, sweet, to the point, because your hand be getting cramped up and shit. Plus, if you're like me with OCD and you make a mistake, fuck, it's a nightmare to rewrite shit over and over again. But anyway, I would encourage everybody to go look at that, because it tells you right in the first couple of paragraphs exactly how to express on the paper your intent. See,
Facts.
Does too. Intent is presumed and assumed, but there's only one way it can be proven, and that's by the testator himself. That's by the superior the claimant. So, let the master speak, essentially. The prosecuting attorney always presumes and assumes your intent, but if you don't rebut it and rebuke it, it stands true in fact and law, right? Silence is acquiescence. That is, the attorney's painting you to be a bad guy. And if you don't object to it, rebut, and rebuke it, then you acquiesce. So, or maybe you have mens rea of the mind. So you're guilty of the mind and you know that was your intent and he stated your intent because he sees the facts and he knows that, you intended bad things. But the only way intent can ever be proven is if it's expressed and stated by the one who had the ability to declare the intent. And that's you.
And check this out. And this is why I always tell people when I sign my applications for any consumer credit application, I either put surety or grantor.
Is that what that
Right next to my
endorsement
name.
Is that what that qualified endorsement
Come
is?
on now.
No, I'm
That's
asking
one
you.
way.
Okay.
You
okay.
catching on. And
You
guess
heard
what
all
I do? Guess what I do on a promissory note? I sign the same way, and then I circle the dollar amount. This is why he's saying anything written on it, and I say notice of subrogation.
Fantastic.
Like that.
And you know why I say that? Because they got to return that money to me.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what's written in that no matter what's written in that contract after you put that on that first page, notice of subrogation, none of that stuff matters until they talk to you. Now they know, shoot, I can't screw him over with this application. I need to make sure he gets this money.
He just declared his intent, ladies and gentlemen. Now the agents that are working on behalf of him know what his intent is, period. They got a fiduciary obligation to fulfill his intent.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And this is why when people talk about restricting endorsements, there's so many different ways to restrict your endorsement without prejudice. Restrict it, right?
Non-assumpsit.
No,
Although if you're entering into contract, you don't want to use non-assumpsit, by the way.
yeah. Or a lot of people, some people have done. They put UCC -3. What is it? Reserve rights. I'm sorry. I'm probably.
But that's a commercial code. If you're trying to do a consumer credit transaction, why would you be using commercial code? That's why I keep trying to direct you guys to the Bill of Exchange Act of 1882. Because it tells you in Chapter 5, if you want to, you don't want to show yourself to be double-minded. Chris knows what he's doing, public and private. I ain't preaching to Chris. I'm just trying to help you guys out.
You're right. You're right. I've just seen so many different ways that people have restricted their endorsements. I always say, express suretyship. You put surety next to your name when you sign that mug. You put notice of subrogation around that dollar amount. You just expressed your equity right there.
Okay, surety next to my...
thing. Yeah, you can either put surety or grantor. They're simultaneously. A lot of people, I'm going to actually be doing a live on suretyship because a lot of people don't really understand surety. There's 3 types of surety and then how it's used in each situation, right? Obviously, people are looking always understanding surety. If I say surety, that means I'm liable. Of course it does. You want to be liable, right? You want to be the one.
That's why I always make the all caps nom de guerre the surety, and I'm just the power of an attorney.
Exactly.
I'm the attorney, in fact. But
all caps what? All caps.
Well, check this out. As surety, guess what? You when you're doing
you have the right of subrogation.
You have the right of subrogation, and guess who you get to subrogate yourself to as surety?
Yep.
The creditor.
Yep.
You get all the rights of the creditor.
That's right.
Because if you have to do the fiduciary responsibilities as surety, which you want to when it comes to contracts, because you know they're not going to do it. They're going to have you paying it as the debtor, right?
Yep.
Yes.
What you want to do is say, no, you know what? If I'm going to be paying this as a debtor, I'm going to substitute myself as the creditor. So I'm going to subrogate you. Hi, Mr. Creditor. Since you're claiming to be a creditor, I am going to subrogate you.
What's so brilliant about what Chris is articulating to you guys is he's expressing the trust. And then he can go into court and say, Your Honor, do you disclaim the trust? And the judge is going to be like, Chambers. Everybody, Chambers.
I've done that in court. I subrogated in court.
Yep.
And when I subrogated the court, he got me out of there quick. But guess what? I got a letter in the mail. They honored it.
Yes, sir. Normally when I express the trust, they go Chambers because they don't want anybody in the peanut gallery catching on.
Because I had a judge mad at me once when I was doing the eviction case. I subrogated his tail because he ruled against my client, and he got mad. Denied. I said, then denial is exoneration. Walked up out of there. Guess what? She didn't have to pay for that eviction, and it ain't on her record.
That's awesome.
Since you acquisition the property, we want money back. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that money and you're gonna give them what they claim you're gonna pay them, right? Because you worked with them, you paid them. I told the courts to pay them. You holding me liable? Fine, pay them.
Chris, you're making it hard to despise everybody in your fucking profession, buddy.
No, that ain't my profession, bro. You don't know. I didn't take the bar. I said, this is BS.
Nice.
When I finished law school and I realized that all this was BS, I didn't take the bar. I was like, I'm not doing this.
That's awesome, man.
I went and did I'm in the music industry right now, so I work for Universal.
Well, thank you for that correction. I was about to get online and tell everybody there's one good one out there.
But I did go to law school. I finished law school. I got my degree. I got my degree in law, but I didn't go do the bar.
That's awesome. So you're an actual lawyer. That's cool. Because there's a difference between the attorney and the lawyer. And I've got a couple of buddies that chose the lawyer path and didn't take the bar either, and they still walk into court and handle business for people too. So that's awesome, man.
Sure. So at the end of the day, guys, like this stuff is easier. It's easier than we thought because, mind you, the stuff I'm doing now, we didn't learn this in law school. All we learned in law school is how to screw people over. We learn procedures. We learn what the bar wants us to do. Right? No, y'all, we got, especially when it came to court cases. Oh, you got a motion to suppress, playing the motion game, teaching us how to do admiralty court. They didn't teach me how to get people off. They didn't teach me how to get people with commercial crimes off. They didn't teach me none of that. They taught me how to get them the less possible charge as possible.
They call it death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what lawyers learn. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Right. But they still had to pay. They still had something on their record because at the end of the day, that's a permanent slave because it's on their record.
Yep. And the other thing is the first thing an attorney does when he takes a case is he ensures that all your appealable issues are waived. That's why they will never, ever, ever challenge jurisdiction, ever.
Yep. I literally watched a public defender sign on this person. I'm sitting here when I was fighting my brother's case. I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for them to open the what's it called? The clerk's office because they were on lunch or something or whatever. And I watched this public defender sit down with this client and says, hey, what do you want to do? I'm going to represent you and stuff like this, but you need to sign these papers. And he was just signing away. And he was like, well, what is this paper for? This is just it's really nothing. You're just signing your right to a jury trial, waiving your right to a jury trial, just waiving rights left and right. I'm sitting here like, I wanted to say something so bad, but I would probably got arrested, right?
It's an ethics violation.
But I'm sitting here like, when that lady left, I'm just like, you realize she about to get you put in jail, right? And I walked away from him. And he just looked at me. He looked at me like I was scared. And I said, you just waived everything that would have helped you get this case completed. So now you're not able to make no pleas against jurisdiction. You waived your right to discovery. He didn't even realize he did that.
Waived your right to appeal.
Waived your right to appeal. That. You can't even speak for yourself. Now, just this public defender is going to go in and make this thing and put on this good show, make you think that she's representing you, and they're going to argue a little bit while they all playing that game, and you're going to end up, and she's going to come back and say, oh, I tried everything, and it's not going to work because the law states this. You might as well go ahead and take this plea. This plea is going to be a very good deal.
Hit them up for ineffective assistance of counsel. Hit them with some bar grievances and some judicial misconduct and some ethics violations. What that sound like to me?
Exactly. And it hurt my heart because I was like, man, I want to tell this dude so bad because I was in that courthouse. I was in the Dallas courthouse. I said, they will arrest me if I do. because he's not my client, and you can't solicit for clients in the courthouse.
Right.
I was like, crap. I was hoping I saw him when I walked out of there, but he was still in there when I left because I didn't go to court. I told my brother, he showed up. I said, bro, we ain't going in there. I got you. I'm gonna file this, file that, file that. We didn't enter a courtroom, and we won his case.
Would you use the demur?
Oh, I did the. Actually, no, I did the special appearance on paper.
Yep.
And then quo warranto, and then the writ of discovery. And I said, please respond. I actually sat down with the DA and gave her the paper. I said, hey, do you want the 21 days or do you want to end this now? She said she wanted the 20. She said she wanted the 21 days. Mind you, before we did all that, she was questioning who I was. Right? She said, "Are you a lawyer?" And no, I said, "No, I'm just the power of attorney over my family's affairs." So I'm asking, do you want the 7 days or what? She was so shocked when she looked at those papers. Her face got big. She knew. So I said, all right, she said, give me the 21 days. And I'm sitting there like, look in my mind, like, you're not going to be able to produce. So
she had to have her paralegal look at it.
What she probably
I found
did.
it again.
Nice.
There we go. Section 348111, buyer's right to rescind contract. That's a right. It says it must include. It says if mailing the contract, like if if they don't give it to you at the store, deliver the contract as a retail seller shall one deliver the retail buyer a copy of the retail installment contract as accepted. Mail to retail buyer showing the retail installment contract, copy of the retail installment contract as accepted by retail seller. And what must be included in section 348111, buyer's right to rescind. Under the retail seller compliance, section 3481110, a retail buyer who has not received delivery of the motor vehicle is entitled to rescission contract, receive a refund, all the payments made under. That's why we don't.
Man, send me that. I need to add that
and
to.
That's in the Texas code.
Send me that one. I was looking for. I need to add that to Katie. Katie's.
Okay, you're gonna need 348.111 and 348.110.
And even if you're not in Texas, guys, you guys realize that she looked that up, and under the foreign laws, you can invoke that in your state and use it.
Wait. Hold on, man. I gotta find my pen.
And then it's in the FBP is in there, and the FTC. That's what they taking them to court on a lot of these contracts. Okay, I told y'all was one. You're not supposed to have an installment contract if it's for personal use and family households.
All right, what was that again? I got it. I'm ready.
It's under Texas. I'll put it up at the bottom. But right down there, section 348.111, buyer's rights to rescind contract, and then 348.110. Those two go together. It must be mailed, and it must be either certified mail with return receipt, where the green receipt go back to them, or electronically done. You still got to sign for it. You got to be provided two. You got to be provided that process, and then the process of it, because they want to be sure that yes, you were notified that you had the right to give it back. Here's the proof. And they're very strict on the proof.
Called due process of law, and the reason they're telling them that it has to be certified is because they use these things called Pitney Bowes stamps, and they subvert the United States mail matter, and in doing so, they commit a crime. Most lawyers do this all the time, and nobody catches them or calls them out. I call them out on everything, every violation.
Yeah, you the one brought it up. You said in regulations, and I was like, wait a minute, Chris, man, I go look for this shit, and there it is. And I looked it up. This is in Texas law, so it's in both the federal and our district court. Like you said, we could take them to district court just on this. This is just district information
now
for our district and our state that me and Chris
No. It covers all 50 states. Let me show you how.
Yeah. Under the FBP, the FRN. 1026.
It's called under the foreign law. You can invoke it under the foreign law, there's a specific name for it, but it's essentially like the supremacy clause. If it's good in one state, it's good in all states.
Yeah, they have it on the 12 CFR, Part 226 and 1026, under truth in lending.
There's also called what's known as the law of the mother country, and in all 50 state constitutions, it tells you.
You said 12 CFR what?
12
got me
CFR, Part 226 and 1026 under the Truth in Lending Act. But it's also on CFBP too. The whole thing, all the documents that you're missing is under, what we looked at, Amerdex. What is it? It's just look for H9 or HA, it'll pop it up.
H8 is for the original agreement. H9 is for refinance.
And
Now,
that's what they did. They refinanced it under the debt cancellation because it's also a contract.
now a few years back, they revised those H8 and H9 forms. Prior to their revising them, they used to say for student loans, car loans. I mean, it laid it out. I mean, it for every fucking loan you could think of was on the H8 and H9.
I will say this too.
Oh, it was?
I will say this for everybody. When you're dealing with contracts and stuff like that, the best laws to deal with is the CFR laws. If you're going to be the law geek, I always going to tell people this: go with equity. Equity will always rule because equity rules over all, right? But if you are going to be
Chris, they got look.
the law
348,
person,
11, 12, buyer's acknowledgement of delivery of the contract copy. So that's a serious ass piece of form right there.
Chris, explain to them why you use the CFR, even in state court. Because if you have to appeal and you end up in the federal, what's the federal going to do when it gets to that level, when you use CFR?
Because you got to understand, if you're using CFR, so CFR governs all things contract. People think it's the UCC, right? The Universal Commercial Code does nothing. CFR it does something, but it does really nothing for your contract. Because once you get the CFR and you're able to make claims in federal court with the CFR, the judge is automatically going to juxtapose that to the USC laws, right? Because there's penalties that come with that, right? And the CFR allows the courts to see that you did your due diligence, and also juxtaposes each organization or each financial institution against those laws, because those financial institutions must follow those regulations, because this is why it's Code of Federal Regulations, right? There are federal regulations for all of these institutions. Their rules and their rules of engagements cannot go against those, right? They're no different than the rules of engagement in court. You know how to, they have rule 10 and rule this in courts, how you do things in courts. If you don't follow those rules, then you are in breach of contract, because you can't go into court saying they're in breach of contract if you don't actually know what breach and then what procedure had to go on in order for that breach to happen. That's the way I explain it anyway.
Yeah. Nice explanation. The other reason to use federal code of regulations is because they're administering a bankruptcy, and federal block grant funding, and they're in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and
Can you see that, Chris?
Pretty much governs everything.
Hold on.
Finance code is Title 4, regulation of interest loans. When you pull that up, this is for Texas. Y'all can probably pull it up right? in y'all state too. Texas, it's the finance code, Title 4, regulation of interest, and everything else will pull up the loan, the finance transaction, subtitle B. It's a big old chapter. It's like 348. So it's
there's another one too that I have pull up. This is the other one I was looking for. I have like 3 different Texas codes. So, because and here's another thing, guys. I use a lot of Texas codes when I'm taking a business to the state district court, when I'm filing claim in state district court. If I'm filing in federal district court, I use all federal law. Just to be totally honest, right? I use nothing but the federal law when I file a claim into federal court. Reason why I do that on my end is because federal trumps all, and a lot of things, like I give you instance, securities fraud. You cannot try securities fraud on a district state court level, right? Because security fraud is a federal crime; it's not a state crime.
Correct.
Securities fraud, and then what's the other one? Restraint of trade. Some states do have a restraint of trade, but mainly that is also fought on the federal level. So it all depends on what you do. So when you're making your claims against these companies, once you've done with your administrative process, you found all the violations, you got to make sure depending on what violations you are claiming, you got to understand, is this a state level thing or is this a federal level thing, right?
You know what I would do? I would personally get all my claims in at all the little snakes, big snakes, let them eat theyself up, try them on in my district, like in your state, in your district court, and get a ruling in your favor, and then go to federal court and get their ass on the securities.
Yeah, and that's smart, because then you're like, okay, you can use the district court in your state district court to do the smaller ones to make sure. Because think about this: if you jack up in your state court, you still got other things to get them on, right? But once you get one judgment on the state court level, and then you go for the next one, which is securities fraud, you got that one in the bag. You can literally ask for a summary judgment. Right? Because you already have a ruling in state
that we're doing
court.
right now. You can go and get a summary judgment without even a judgment, and take that to the federal level.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying you got to be careful of where you file. Just understand what you're filing in what court. But if you cannot, I'm sorry, I'm like 100K.
And they gonna settle with you by then, because now somebody about to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? They gonna hurry up and settle with you. If you already got an investigation on both ends, eating their behinds up, right? If you already got the fight started, and y'all ever seen Waiting to Exhale, where she burnt the car off and lit her cigarette and took off walking? Okay, while they house on fire, you taking off walking because you know what your next move is, right? So while they got all that going on, and then you hit them with that federal claim too, you think they gonna say, well, look, we already been beat. We're gonna go ahead and settle from here because we don't need nobody else getting in trouble.
Exactly.
You guys
And
gonna like what I'm about to show you here in a second.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people, I'm like 100K. It's 10 out of 10 if you use CFR laws.
Yep, 10 out of 10.
Because the CFR laws are way more detailed than anything else that we're showing you. We can show you 15 USC this and 18 USC this, but when you get down to the CFR laws, there's always a UCC law to back up the CFR laws, right? Because you got to remember there's levels to these laws, because you got the UCC, you got the USC, you got the UCC, and then you got the CFR. CFR is always derivatives of your UCC, because you got to remember the the United States codes are pretty much written off the Constitution. CFR and UCCs are written off of every act, right? Right. Those are more regulations written off of acts, the things that created the USC. So you got to remember, once the USC is created, they created CFRs or Universal Code or UCCs, depending on what the act requires. So you got to know these levels of law and why they're there. And this is why I always tell people your best bet is equity, subrogation, suretyship, understanding the 20 maxims of equity. If you understand those, it's a 10 out of 10 without even bringing up a law, right? I kid you not, I'm not lying to any one of you guys. I've won things and I've got remedy without even mentioning one law, because I use equity, because I use suretyship, because I subrogate, right? Because I make sure that the contributions are being made. Equity reigns above all, because equity is what created all these laws in the first place. So remember that.
Yeah, equity will take jurisdiction to avoid a multiplicity of suits, and equity will absolutely disavow the presumed and assumed law or color of law and stand in the face of tyranny and prevail. But in Title 15, 1635, do you guys realize that that doesn't require a court action or a judgment or an order from the court? The second you do the H8 and H9, it is final. They've tried to challenge it.
Say that one more again.
Title 15, 1635, as soon as you exercise your right of rescission, it doesn't require a judgment. In fact, many lawyers have tried to press this issue in court, and they have all failed. All the judges agree that the way that it is written by Congress, it is clear intent that the second you exercise your right of rescission, it is final. It does not require a judgment, a judiciary review, or any litigation at all. It is final the second you execute the H8 or the H9. It is done. So go read Title 15, 1635. If you read A and B, it will tell you right there, it doesn't require judgment. It is instantaneous from the moment you file it.
And Derek, you're going to have people say, well, I never seen that form. How do I exercise that if I never got the form?
What do you mean? All you got to do is print it off and send it in. You don't even have to print it off. You can write your own.
Yeah, exactly.
I am, doing a rescission, termination, revocation of election to the security agreement. You don't want to do it on the promissory note, right?
Nope.
It's a security agreement that's detrimental.
But what if they got them both tied together?
Because the security agreement's what they're saying is the loan.
But what if they have it both tied together on the contract? You know how they try to be sneaky where they'll cram both?
It don't matter. Look. Read the bottom of the H8. It says, I, your name, am canceling this loan, and then you're supposed to put the account number and the date you did it and mail it. It's that fucking simple.
That's simple.
But what I'm saying is, if both the contract and the note is together on the same form, is it possible to just draw a line through? You don't want to cancel the contract, because you want to keep the arbitration. You just want to get the security.
I understand what you're saying, but look, that's of no concern to you. That's for the big boys in the professional league over on the business side to handle, because they're going to have to be dealing with the IRS and the SEC.
Correct.
If they push any more issues. So don't worry about policing that aspect of it. You're just simply, just read the bottom of the H8 and H9 form. I just wanted you guys to understand it requires no litigation. It is final from the minute it hits the mail. It's called the United States mailbox rule. And as soon as it hits the mail, it is considered served, and it is final. The only issue at hand in 1635 that is left over is whether or not they're going to bring you in kind the exact instruments and all your proceeds from the trust residue and trust res back to you. And if they don't, in 1635, it says you get to keep the property with impunity. It's yours. And I'm telling you right now,
but actually,
you sign those documents, they can't give it to you in kind, because they've already endorsed it, they've already converted it, they've already sold it. It's gone.
It's gone.
Exactly.
What forms did you say, Derek, that you could do? H8 39? I hadn't heard of that before. Would you repeat that?
8 and H9 out of the Truth in Lending Act regulations.
Right here. Right to rescind, cancel. And to tell you that you can keep the property.
It require litigation. It's done. It's final. The second you sign it, it's done. And if you're married, only one person who is in that joint business venture, which would be you or your spouse, has to sign it, and it's good for both of you. I love it. It's beautiful.
And they got 20 calendar days.
Now watch this, guys. This is what McReal was saying earlier, right? McReal, he was basically saying the same thing without using the word rescission, and this is why I had to show him like there's a difference between just requiring them to give you what's on that contract, which is, hey, you owe me a check, and rescission. Because if think about this, if you have a mortgage and the mortgage is not attached to the promissory note, right? And they're saying you, how does rescission work with that? The only thing that rescission will work with a mortgage that you never signed, that's pretty much a fraudulent debt, is that they have
It's
to
right here.
reimburse the securities, right? Because you never gave them anything. So this is why I said you got to know which remedy you want. Do you want them to honor the contract, or do you want to get them for the fraud? So I personally would never, like on a mortgage, I wouldn't rescind a mortgage because I already know this is a fraudulent document. That means I can get every bit of security plus the amount of the mortgage times 2 plus the FDIC insurance on the account. No matter how long they've kept it, out of all the years that they traded it, I can get that FBI. So that right there becomes a court case that easily gets into the 2s and the 3s and the 4s, millions of dollars.
Right.
So if you're rescinding something you never signed, and I will say this, remember, if I'm rescinding a mortgage that I never signed, I'm now acquiescing that that was a true contract. So then therefore, I can't go back and get them for securities fraud or any other type of fraud because you just validated that contract by rescinding it. How do you rescind a contract that was never a contract in the first place? The 2 remedies that you want to do on those things is what? Either ask them to give you something that you can make payable on its face. That means they have to honor it. They have to give you something, right? So that they can get the securities, or you're going to sue them in court for fraud, which you're going to get a lot of money. Just remember that. Rescission works when you've actually signed something and they can't return that promissory note. So if I sign something with a car lot and say the car lot did what they needed to do, they stamped it, got all the money, got the check, and I rescind it with the car lot, I'm going to have to return the vehicle and they're going to have to return the money because
In
they won't
20
be able
days.
to. Yeah, they won't be able to give you the contract back because that contract was already stamped and sold and created into account, right? So rescission works that way. Just remember, that's how rescission works. But just remember, a lot of people are trying to rescind contracts that they never signed when you should be going for securities fraud, right? And unjust enrichment, all of these big things that you can get for them. When I say restrain a trade, mind you, if a mortgage company is saying you owe them and you asking them to produce the original contract, because you got to remember the original promissory note is the check, right? The original application is the check.
And they ain't gonna send it back
Right.
to you because they converted it already.
No, they ain't gonna send it back to you because they don't have it. They never had it in the first place. They might have had a copy of it and they converted that, but they don't have the original application.
don't.
So they can't return anything to you. So what happens there is that's called restraint of trade.
That's why
You
they
just
never
said,
gave
"I
you the
owed
rescission of
something."
right to return it. And didn't follow the procedures for as giving you 2 notices, one by electronic where you sign and one that you sign right there with them.
Right. So because the mortgage company don't have it, they
Chris
can't
Petty.
return it. That's restraint of trade. They're preventing you from making the transaction legal. That's restraint of trade. And you know, restraint of trade is punishable up to $100 million.
Chris made a very valid point earlier tonight. I don't know if you guys caught it. Don't ever sign anything electronically. Don't do it.
I wish somebody would've told me that
these,
shit.
These people don't care about trees. They're not tree hugging hippies. Demand paper. All right.
I did that at this car lot. No, I said,
there's
I'm
a-
sorry. You keep sending me this application. I said, I need a paper application. They was like, oh, we're sorry. They sure sent it to me. Because I'm sending my
Yeah, I want you to
instructions
sign
with
here and sign there through electric, just clicking away.
You know why they like the electronic forms? Because they get to control
The
the
signature.
amount of space you have to enter you have a certain amount of space to sign your name. For example, you can't put without recourse on there. They make it impossible. That's the lawyers working behind the scenes, going to the digital realm, liking it a lot more because you can't write over top of their shit. And they like it.
And not only that, a lot of times you have to write your name in a signature exactly the way it is in the top of the application, right? Or another thing you can't do is you can't submit your application without a social security number, knowing that a social security number is voluntary. You don't have to give it.
And where the electronic, they're making you hit paperless before you could even submit it. So even when you got to hit paperless, submit it, and then go back on the settings after the fact and turn off the paperless if you want it to be to get mail. It's fucked up. They're trying to get us every which way.
Here's another thing. If you're ever denied, immediately put it in writing that you're demanding all of the property you exchanged with them in the transaction. Make sure you don't use the word give, because that's a gift. They don't have to give something back that you gifted to them. All right, but that was involved in the transaction. If they denied you your extension of credit, I want the original application back immediately, and watch, they'll throw a fit about it. Well, what's such a big deal? If you said I was denied, what's the big deal about giving me that application back? What's the big deal about giving me all that paperwork back? It's not yours. It's your name on it. It's my name. That's right. And I give that shit back over here. That's my private intellectual property.
Exactly.
My valued precious time commodity that I invested into that, and it's mine. And watch how much of a fit they throw about giving you that paperwork back, because
When I tell you they do,
they're still negotiating it.
I told you they did, because that's why they had to reopen their consideration for these loans I was telling y'all earlier. Because I said, hold on. I said, if you guys are not, I said, it's fine. If you guys are going to not honor it, you still, I said, and I told them just like this. I mean, I'm okay if you guys are still going to deny me, but I just want to make sure that you send me the lawful reasons as well as return the application. And then he said, what do you mean by return the application? How are we supposed to do that? I said, I don't have any idea how you're supposed to do that. That's on you to figure out.
No,
that ain't my job to figure that out. That's for you to figure out. But I want my property back.
If they refuse to give it back to you, and this seems extreme, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is vital information. Call the cops and have them come down and fill out a report of the property that they're in constructive possession of that they refuse to give back. That would, I'm telling you, you end up in a court. You're not going to end up in a court. You do something like that. I promise you that. They would. Their attorneys, their chief legal counsel, will be contacting you. They will be. You know what? We reevaluated this, and you was approved. We got a polished, buffed, full tank of gas and a gas card for you. Come
Damn
on.
right.
Hey, Derek, I don't know if he was in here earlier, but that was one of my I was telling them earlier on the other live that, hey, I did exactly, and I had to talk with them over the phone. And they said, yeah, we're going to review, and they reviewed and approved. One of the banks did. The other one is opening it back up for review. But
That's awesome, bro. That wasn't in at the time.
I was not
Reading
playing
that
with them. I
information.
just basically just talk. I said, hey, I'm not understanding, because I played that game. I said, I'm not understanding because, I don't really do a lot of loans. But when I did do them, I don't understand this whole approving thing based on FICO score. We know that that's not even something you guys consider. And this is why the person that I was talking on the phone, he was saying, well, no, we do he literally told me they only use the FICO score to determine the interest rate, right?
They call it a
Class
factor.
Class
It's
A,
a
B, C, D,
factor.
right? So they say, we're not denying you based on it, but I said, but you sent the letter saying that. So, and I think but again, I know he was backtracking because I was throwing out these laws, right? I was like, so I'm not understanding how you're denying me this, right? And he admitted what it was for. We're not supposed to be doing that. I said, oh, okay, so you're not supposed to be doing that, but you sent the letter saying that, right? Because you guys told me y'all sent the letter out. So that's when we ended up getting he was talking to the compliance officer, and that's when they decided, oh, okay, this dude ain't playing. So I was throwing it down. I was like, you guys already opened the account, right?
That's funny. If they deny you, another thing you want is you want a full accounting of the transaction, because believe it or not, a transaction still occurred even if you were denied. The evidence of that is that you were denied, and if they made one penny off that transaction, it was identity theft, illegal conversion. All right, they took your securities and run. It's a Steve Miller Band song. Go on, take the money and run.
And they can't help themselves because that's how they make money.
I'm like, let me go ahead and see everything on the accounting on that. I'm not playing with them.
So real quick, gentlemen, and I appreciate y'all, and ladies, thank y'all. The H8 and the 8.9, Chris and Derek, y'all were talking to me earlier. Does that have anything to do with my transaction as well?
Did you get it? Did you ever receive it? Did they ever send it to you electronically or by mail?
No. No, the right to rescission, no.
You have the right to rescission, but I would take it under consideration at least to correct your defects in your blank endorsement before you execute the H8 and H9. That's That's what I would say. Do your allonge. Tell them to pay the invoice to the dealer, pay the security agreement to the lender. The lender is you. You're telling them to give you the damn check because they're in constructive possession of your funds, telling you that you owe a debt. And with them being in constructive possession of the funds and having the security, that's called a misappropriation of funds. That's a crime.
Okay, thank you.
But you can hit them with the crime until you correct your defect, which is giving them the instructions of what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
And you know how they do, Derek. They never send nothing back with an agent's name on it. They always say from the company.
That's why, if you notice in my letter that I constructed, I want a statement of fact of the pains and penalties of perjury from their CPO, their CFO, or their CEO. I don't care who it comes from, but somebody's going to swear under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Exactly.
That all my property has been returned, and that way I can be assured that if we do an audit on them, I'm not going to find anything.
Okay, thank you for that. I was just trying to understand the H8 and H9 that y'all were talking about because y'all kind of pulled it up and was just
Go
trying
on the FC, what is that shit? Go on to consumerfinancing.gov and you'll see it.
Okay.
Or type in H9HA, it's going to pull up.
Yes.
Asking them to perform and then go send them an HA or H9, right? That doesn't make sense. What are you
Well,
doing?
after they don't
Perfect.
perform, Chris, you give them enough time to perform after you give them instructions, and now you've got cause for action.
Right. So then when that remedy fails and they fail to honor that remedy, then you go to the next one, which is to rescind. Because again, you could still get the money through rescission. Right.
Because you already wrote them a conditional notice, right? You prove this or give me back my money and no response back, then bam.
Right. So then therefore say they don't honor the rescission, as we found out that once you put the rescission and you don't need a judgment, if they don't honor that and do what you're supposed to do, rescind, and then send you the receipt or the proof that they deleted the account or the cancellation or some type of something that acknowledges that they are canceling and sending back your instrument. If they don't do that, then that's when you go to court.
Right. And you can take it straight to the clerk and get your what they call that, your judgment.
Right.
I've had this happen to a couple people that have executed the Title 15 USC 1635, where the repo guy still came out and grabbed their stuff, and we went right down to the courthouse with Title 15 1635 and got a permanent injunction, and the repo man was ordered to give the automobile back. So it's also your perfect affirmative defense and injunction. Title 15 is your 1635 is your perfect affirmative defense. If you have to go into the court and get an injunction, use 1635. If they're still threatening to take the automobile or the house or whatever, go into the small claims court and get a declaratory judgment for an injunction predicated off Title 15, 1635 that you were compliant. You gave them notice. Show the judge and the clerk of the court that you followed the rules, and they will go ahead and issue that order. And then if they come and steal it, they're in real big shit.
Okay.
Now they're in contempt of court.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. I'm going to mute out and keep trying to listen. I'm like a sponge over here. Thank you.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you. I got to get some sleep because I got to get up and do some stuff in federal court tomorrow. So, and I got to be down there early.
Get you, Chris.
I appreciate
Always a pleasure,
all
brother.
of you
It was
guys.
a pleasure. You're a rock star, man. What a blast.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem, guys.
Good night,
Y'all don't stay up
Chris.
too late.
Night, Chris. Night. Thank
Especially
you for dropping those
Matt.
gems.
Don't be
What?
on here forever now.
Oh, I'm not. I got to get up early myself.
Discipline, y'all. Discipline, man. Go on. Get some sleep.
Man, I done went through damn 2 pins taking notes from Chris. Damn, you leaving already, bro?
Sorry, bro.
Nah, you good, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. But you dropped some straight facts tonight, bro. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. I'm kind of sick of the people out here who are always trying to give this information, but you got to go take their class, and then they trying to make it more difficult than what it really is.
Right,
I'm all about
unnecessary shit.
simplicity.
Exactly.
I'm all about simplicity and helping people understand it in the simplest form so that they can utilize it and actualize it, because I don't believe it takes years of studying this stuff, especially when people start talking, it's the mindset thing. I hate when I ask direct questions and then somebody goes straight spiritual on me. Hey, bro, we got the spiritual
Shut
part.
up, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I get the whole mindset.
And another thing I hate when they start saying, "Well, see, you people don't read. Y'all don't do this and y'all don't do that." Well,
Yeah.
how we gonna do something if they don't know it? Or we don't know it?
Exactly.
I mean, if you out there spitting knowledge, don't belittle nobody else by saying what they don't do. Just give them the tools.
some of them use a tactic just to get you to come over and say, "Well, hey, can you help me?" And then they want to charge you out the ass and still ain't gave you no resolution.
Exactly.
Now, I want to put this premise out because I said that. I know I got to go, but I'm not knocking anybody who deals with the spiritual aspect of getting your mind right, because I had to do that. But I did that simultaneously putting things into action. Because one, I believe that if you're going to change your mindset, you have to do it spiritually, mentally, and physically simultaneously.
Yeah, because you're going to have to deal with these crooks.
Right, because people have real problems now that they're trying to remedy. I can learn as I go. So tell me what it is that I need to do, and let's move on. But I'm tired of hearing, I'm on here all the time, and I'm tired of hearing, it's a mindset thing. It's about changing your mind. And, we got to get into the Bible, and it's metaphysical. You gotta manifest. If I hear the manifest word one more time. Now, mind you, I'm a Christian, so I understand God. I'm a worship pastor at my church. I do this. I understand. But when I'm looking for real answers, real life actionable things I could put action towards, I don't want to hear nothing about no
I just want to get to the right
metaphysical
and get my
mental
remedy.
state, and it's a mindset, bro. Like, get up out of here. You selling classes. Get out of here.
Show me them receipts, baby. Show me them receipts.
Because everybody that I hear doing
Appreciate
that,
you, Chris,
I have not
brother. That
seen
was awesome,
one
man.
receipt. I haven't seen one receipt from them people.
Not one.
And I'm not knocking them,
one.
but I'm not seeing receipts from people. So I take the information.
Not nan.
And I learn from them.
He said not now.
I want to see receipts from now on. And everybody in the audience, if y'all heard this live tonight, we just dropped a bunch of stuff on you that you can actually start your process.
Exactly. Get remedy.
I want to see receipts.
Now,
Better see some
at the
receipts
state
for all
level,
this
I'm going to tell you, if you
information.
can't get your permanent
Everything at y'all
injunction,
disposal.
For free.
you can't get your permanent injunction at the state level because sometimes that happens where the lower state court won't grant it. Just take that puppy right up to the federal level and they will instantly grant it, because Title 15, 1635 is definitely enforced at the federal level. Sometimes state court judges, they money laundering, and they got invested in the repo action and all that stuff. So they're working with car dealerships and stuff. And I've seen it before. So just know this: if you get denied at the state level, take your happy ass to the Supreme Court level in your state and do it that way, and you get your injunction. I guarantee it.
And it's not hard to file these claims, y'all. It really ain't.
No, it's not. It's not. As soon as you file them claims, a couple dollars when they give them to them, I promise you they'll be coming to you.
But if you got big snake, eating little snake, you may not even have to do all that. You just may have to just sit back and just eat the popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Let them go at each other,
Jeez,
child.
right?
Y'all handle that argument.
Yep. Well, man, hell, I need to come to damn Texas and get one of them damn loaded baked potatoes.
What you say, Mike?
I said I need to come
You
back
pull up
down
that
to
bill of
Texas
exchange
and get
act.
one of them damn loaded ass baked potatoes.
Okay.
Man, look at here. When I come down through that's the first thing I hit. Let me get one of them damn loaded baby potatoes, the whole damn thing, take up the plate bar. I'm hooking on them right there.
And come get your turkey leg from the turkey leg hut.
Oh, Lord, man, look at here. I already had one. I'm stuck on them. And then I was down there in Houston when my truck broke down. Man, I did not know they had one of those drive-through, what they call them little things when you get to the drive-through daiquiri places.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Man,
They got the drive-through daiquiri. You was in Missouri City?
No, I was in Houston.
Yeah, but where in Missouri City and Houston? Because they got one in drive-through right there in Missouri City.
It wasn't too
far
from
like
the
a
airport.
little highway.
It was about maybe 15 minutes from the airport. I was right there by the airport. Yeah. And man, my damn truck, bro. I brought 2 half gallons and called Uber back to the damn hotel. And when I went back, boy, look at here. I was supposed to be going to one of those little after a happy hour place. I couldn't make it out the damn hotel to get back down there.
It made you sit down.
Yes, because we don't have those here in Carolina. Yep. Well, I'm like, man, listen, it's been a long day for me. I was up doing some things, but because I got some stuff I need to get done for my mom on this car tomorrow, hoping this bank give me a call. Because those jokers, I tell you, they try to give me a runaround when I start spitting stuff out to them today.
Oh, they scared, child. You may have to write a letter.
Oh, they definitely scared. How the senior loan officer didn't know what the hell I was? Bro, you the one who signed off on the deal. I don't hear what you got to say. You the one who signed off on the deal. He
knows going to come back and bite him in the ass.
No, he didn't.
You got him right where you want him.
Oh, I got him right, and I'm applying them. I'm squeezing the vice grips just like I did with the attorney on my house. I sure am. Go ahead and let me get them ducats. Run me my ducats, bro. I already got them. That's why they passed the book.
72, 30, 15, and 5. But we can 72 and 30. We can pass that on up because once you send them that notice and then you send them that last little on notice, that's it. You about to bust a move on that ass. Yeah, then go get your judgment.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Like I tell you, you don't mess with mama.
Good.
You don't mess with mama.
Okay, because the district court is in everybody. One is right down the street from me. Shit, I take that bad boy and that sign right here, clerk.
Man, you got him damn head today. Man, you got him scared to goddamn go to work down there.
Shoot. Like, she crazy.
Did she call yet? Is she here yet?
Did she call yet?
Yeah, they probably got somebody goddamn watching you. Hey, she just left the house. I don't know where she going yet.
Okay, I'm going to sue you. The woman say it won't be the first. And I'm like, it ain't going to be the last either. Shit. Bitch. They kicked me out, locked all them locks, click. Bitch, I ain't want to be here anyway. You shouldn't have invited me.
Yeah, y'all can have y'all little funky ass courthouse. Just give me my damn ducats.
Exactly.
Hell on about your damn business. Have at least how many followers have you step up?
I think between 400 to 1,000.
Somewhere like that.
If you guys have that, those amount of followers, I'm gonna step down so you can step up to ask those questions that you may have, because we don't want to leave anybody out. I don't want y'all to feel like we're ignoring y'all. So I'm gonna do that due diligence and step down. So any of you guys that want to step up and ask anybody on the panel, y'all can do that. Please gift the panel. Tap the screen, share the live, show some love because they just dropped major knowledge on everyone tonight. Go in and follow everybody that's on the panel. You will see receipts. You will see other information that they share. I was hoping everyone was taking notes. So we all can come together and get remedy. Slowly but surely things are changing. For the ones who aren't able to step up, just hold tight. The changes are coming, But please be aware that this process, the whole process, is not a microwave process. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to stand up for yourself. You're going to have to stand your square and not let these tyrant judges, cops, and anybody else take advantage of you.
Come on.
This information, you guys can do it. Believe in yourself. This is not hard. Don't think that every time, we're on here, we speaking, we feel like y'all, we giving college courses. It's not. I mean, it's very elementary. Information is right there. So you guys can do it. I've done it. I got receipts. Mad got receipts. Divine got receipts. 504 has receipts. Big Dog Derek got receipts. You done heard McReal come in. Every other, other people that stepped up, they got receipts. And I mean, and hell, you just heard Chris. I mean, that's just fucking mastermind right there.
Man.
That he's a damn mastermind. So as you can tell, we aren't gatekeepers. We are not gatekeepers here, folks. We want to see everybody succeed. We want to see everybody win. Exactly.
Without having to give your left arm and right arm away, okay?
Exactly.
And pay somebody, $12,000 and still have no remedy.
And still can't get nothing done.
And still can't get no done. Can't, don't have really still don't have an understanding of what's going on.
Exactly. Exactly. I've dropped some new information on my page earlier today about court systems, child support, mortgage fraud, foreclosure, and stuff like that. So if you didn't have anything answered tonight, the stuff that I dropped was from E. Mitchell and Associates. They are attorneys, so they give you information. I tapped into them, and I posted some of that stuff on my page, and I also put it out. So you guys can also tap onto that to get information. Tells you about how the straw man works. I mean, just all that information that you can tap into from my page. So with that being said, I'm going to still be in, but I'm going to step down and give some of the people that's in the chat an opportunity to step up and ask some of the questions to the guys on the panel, so they can get some of this stuff answered as well.
Man, it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, Campbell.
I sent you a follow request.
Yeah, for sure. I run for his money too, motherfucker.
So if anyone have any questions out there and able to go live, go ahead and send in your request. Other than that, if there are any documents that you are inquisitive about, go to the CFBP and you'll be able to see and check to see if there are any documents that you are missing. There's a list of Apex. This is under Apex H, Part 1026. And you'll be able to scroll all those documents and see if you're missing anything. The main thing is go read. Just read.
Hey, you have to
Take
keep
your time.
I think there's somebody down there.
Oh, let's see.
And Matt, you sent me also a DM, and I'd like you to resend it. We'll get hooked up together. I appreciate it all. Derek, you're awesome, guys. I'm going to step out of here. Danny, everybody who's involved, man, you guys are awesome. Austin.
Glad you got a name finally.
Absolutely.
Just a quick explanation. The GARR is my first name, but my first name is Gary. I have a twin brother, but my middle name is Dion, so I just put Guardian.
I like it.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
I like it, Guardian.
Hey, Pure Empress, how you doing?
All right, well, you guys are wonderful, and thank you all. Good night.
Thank
All
you
right,
for
good night. Have a
coming
good
up
one.
and sharing.
Later.
Good night. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing?
Oh, good.
Thanks. How you doing?
What's up?
I love the platform and the topic. I just wanted to share that I kind of knew something was going on, but you guys helped me to really see that it's not just a facade or something in my mentality, but I was always told I was rebellious and defiant. because as I wanted to know why do I have to do this? Like when I went and bought my car, they wanted me to put money down, and I ended up giving them like over $8,000. But I said to my grandmother, she kind of forced me to. I'm like, why do I have to give the money? Why can't they just get all the money from the loan if I have the credit?
And they did.
Yeah, and she told me like I was a problem. She's not helping me anymore. Then the next thing was I had got in trouble in school, and they wanted to expel me, but they kept telling me, we need you to come sign the paperwork so we can start your expulsion. And I'm like, well, then I'm never going to sign it. So now what? I'm not agreeing to it. And then my grandmother was kind of saying, you're rebellious, you're defiant. I'm like, but if I don't give my permission, then maybe nothing can happen. And I couldn't figure it out. So then I became older and I had kids. And I'm like, well, why do I got to sign the birth certificate and this and that? Why do I have to tell you guys this? Isn't this private? And everybody just made it like I was always a problem. They started telling me I had mental health issues. And I think I can be sweet. I'm an introvert, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was so frustrating. So then I got a little bit older not too long ago. And someone told me, well, someone made a false police report on me. And then they basically summoned me to come to court. And I'm like, well, why do I have to come to where you're telling me to come? Like I didn't know what I was saying, so to say, but I just really wondered, like, how do you get to tell me I got to come? What if I got somewhere to go? What if I'm on vacation that day? How do we get to say I can come when it's convenient for me as well? That was my point. Like, what if that isn't convenient for me? So it's started me to looking into things. And then I did go to court. They took me to jail, but they wanted me to agree to things that I knew very little. But I was what they would have considered defiant, and I just didn't have the resources. But I stumbled upon a way where I realized that I could just simply not agree, and then some things couldn't be done. I'm not saying like that was just the gist of it, but I'm saying before I got on your platform, that's what it was. Up until like the final thing was they sent me and told me I had to be on probation. And I'm like, I don't agree. And they were like, sign these papers. And I'm like, I absolutely don't agree. And then the probation person that was there was like, you know what? I'm infatuated with you. You are so smart. But she didn't know how much I knew or did not know, but she just knew something. So as I would now say, stood on my square, and I used the UCC 1-308. I did learn that just being on TikTok and stuff. I utilized that, and she didn't know how much I knew, but she knew I knew something. So it pretty much, I guess, would say got me off. Like I was free. They couldn't do anything. They just let me go. They kept trying to contract with me. They let me go. So where I'm at now, that I see that something does exist, where do I start to make this make sense for me? Because it was like so much information. I took notes the entire time, but where do I start? Like what book?
Start with Truth in Lending, Consumer Protection Act. And then go on a CFBP website and pull up, what is this? Pull up, what is it?
Schedule H, I think it's called. All right. No, I might be wrong.
Pull up Appendix H, and it should pop up. Just put in Appendix H. It'll pop up.
Just Google
Just to focus on those three things and look for any application that you never received, whether it be to your mortgage or your car, your credit card. It's all there.
Look up your contracts, baby. That's so true.
Yep.
Also, when you're reading all these things, know that there's difference between definitions of law and just regular. So you want to look up these definitions for like persons and anything. Just law language is a whole different than regular language. So you want to look up definitions and understand that fact too.
Okay, got it. And I think
just start with those two simple things, because we don't want to give you information overload.
Yeah,
and I could be confused. Utilize what you do every day. You contract every day, right? So you're a consumer, right? Consumer Protection Act. That's what you need to be reading. Truth in Lending, because you're going to be operating under UCC, Uniform Commercial Codes, right? You're going to be lending out your signature that brings the money, which are the notes. You need to learn how to utilize that. And then if you've been cheated in any kind of way, go to CFBP and look at what you're missing.
Yeah, and I have. I definitely have. I have a situation now where I don't really know how to use the credit and everything. Like I own my house in totality. Well, no, it's not in totality because I pay property taxes. I don't have any liens or mortgages. I bought it from like an auction and paid
you can go back and get all that money back. Oh, you bought it at an auction?
Yeah, like from the state. Someone was about to
so somebody went, that was that's fucked up. I don't like those type of things. But property taxes, you're not supposed to be paying no property taxes.
Okay. And the other thing was like I have some businesses and I wanted to apply for a loan. I don't even know where to start with that. Like I'm anticipating them telling me no, but they kind of keep telling me come
Well, if
in.
they tell you yeah, by the time you get done with them, they'll tell you yeah. If they tell you no, they're gonna tell you yeah.
Okay, so what should I do for that? Do an application in paper. I learned that. Do an application in paper, and then what?
And then wait. And then if they deny you, then you send them because they're supposed to also give you a notice of rescinding the contract you filled out.
Okay.
They never give it to you because they want to keep this. They want to keep the extra securities. That's the whole point.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I am so grateful for everyone on the platform. Thank you.
You have a good one. Talos Foster, how you doing?
Yo, Smash, what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on?
Man, I'm going down this damn rabbit hole, just like everybody else, you know.
Okay. You know it,
Deep one, right? So tell me why I was at my broker today and I was damn near ready to choke I was ready to choke him, I ain't gonna lie. I knew he was lying directly in my face. I knew I had him cornered. He couldn't say anything. So I'm reading from the book of the Banking of International Settlements and the International Monetary Fund handbook on debt securities. And I'm going through it and he's just like, yeah, this is a bill. But I was like, well, do you know that it's illegal to send bills through the mail, right? And I can hit you with a $10,000 fine each and every time you send that motherfucker, right?
And not only that, you can hit up the attorney, the Postmaster General. They have a fraud department dealing with just debt collectors.
Right. So now what if I jump down the Postmaster throat for not complying with 39 USC 3001? And then go to 3012, which I can get $10,000 for. Why are you sending bills through the mail? If you want to call them bills, I'm gonna get paid even more now for a $55 coupon bond. Are you stupid?
Wow.
What did he say?
He couldn't say nothing. He was like, "Yo, I went to Harvard," and I'm in my head. I'm thinking, is Harvard higher than the international?
Well, Harvard ain't gonna stop you from this hard ass whipping. Right.
Is Harvard higher than the International Monetary Fund? Because I'm sure you're not higher than Catalina Georgievna. You feel me? None of you are higher than any person I'm about to name in this damn book. So you better get your boss out here. But it was only him and me in there. So hey, I had to get up out of there. About time I was running it down, and then I went into the securities industry essentials book, and I'm running it down to him, which says the same thing as the Bank of International Settlements. Whoever owns the
because there cannot be no conflict in positive law.
Right. So they were like, whoever has the coupon in their possession is entitled to the interest therein. It issued by the issuer. So I'm reading from it now. It says the debt securities generate income of form of interest receivables. Ain't that what everybody been saying? That's the interest and the dividends that you are owed from the account.
Yep.
Exactly. So why you playing in my face like that? For you just playing in my face, I'm gonna just put a complaint in on you. How about that? And then we're gonna have the same discussion in front of your boss.
You better do a call for them securities, if anything.
Dude.
Do you a notice, a demand notice?
Yeah.
This is my thing. I'm calling up the company like, well, who's your paying agent? Because now I know, like, I can go to your paying agent and collect my interest.
Get their name, get the person you need to, because you need to send them a notice through mail.
Yeah.
And then you can take that copy and then get their email and send it to them. Fax, however, plane, trains, and automobiles is my name.
For real. But somebody was asking in the chat, what was that code? That was 39
The baby dog and the puppy and them gonna get one too. Shit, paying that to your master.
Real shit. Sick of these people. So that's what I'm saying. Like you'll sit there and cash because I just read on the SEC they cashed in $800 million in debt securities. Well, where'd you get them from?
Exactly.
You can't own them. You feel me? So where'd you get them from? So you're obviously doing it.
They write them out, and they not giving people proper tax forms to actually claim them as income. Somebody got to claim it as income.
Exactly. And then that's why I had to get into it with my car people. Like, y'all not reporting that. Because if y'all classifying it as a gift, y'all are not reporting that. You feel me? But that's where that 1099B come in. I'm starting to read that instructions on the 1099B. It lets you, like, how many securities did you, or
I go read all the 1099s, baby. That's the money. The 1099B is Invicta is a voucher.
Woo! But that 1099B, it says how many securities did you dispose of? That it's basically letting them know, like, oh, did they report it on the 1099 OIC
If
or
they did it on
INT?
the 10,
No.
was that 1096, 1099 OID, and I think a 78 form somewhere up in there. You can request for all those forms that they actually filed.
They want to argue with me. Argue with your mama. Argue with the IRS.
Argue with the rule maker.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, I'm going down this rabbit hole right now. So hey, I'm just off to the next broker. If he don't understand what I'm saying, I'm just up and leaving because you obviously incompetent. But if you incompetent, that means you can't contract either. So what are you doing?
What type is still what? Series 6, a Series 6, 7?
He was a 7. You feel me? To transfer the damn securities, but he's like, oh, this is a bill. I'm like, no, it's not. You can't sit here and tell me that you think this is a bill because there's multiple codes
But
that let me know
those type of securities that you're trying to trade in, sometimes you got to open up your trust, get you a trust account, and trade your securities that way.
Yeah, I'm about to finesse him. You feel me? But I'm definitely about to write it as a security agreement, basically outlining everything he's supposed to be complying with.
And they coming up today, slowly but surely, because Bank of America do clearly as day say that they take utility bills. I lie to y'all not.
They do. They do.
HCA say take utility bills. All you need is the account number. Yep, they sure do.
They supposed to.
It's turning slowly but surely, but when it hit, it's gonna be around like 2024 when they really start doing what they should have been done. But they gotta crash the petrodollar first before they even do anything. Because they know once we're in a digital system already. So in order to get everybody over there, you gotta crash what's over here. You can't have a bite of the same apple.
You know they got some kind of strategic move that they're gonna do to fucking try to handle it.
Oh, you already know. And we gotta be 10,000 steps ahead, because when they do that, and they gonna come in peace and making it sound like all good and riches, baby. As soon as it hit, I'm going to buy some certificates.
See if you guys were mentioning trust. I have actually two questions. I am new at this whole process of the 1099 and all that. I've been around listening for the last few years, but I've seen a lot of people go to jail. So there's nobody doing like specific steps or who to trust at this point. Lots of disinformation out there.
Who went to jail?
A lot of different people that have done these 1099s or the wrong process.
You know them personally?
A couple, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, how did they do it? Did they do themselves as the debtor or the creditor?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know enough about that. I just know that they did something wrong and put their names out there, and then they had all their bank accounts.
You gotta know the facts before you speak on something you
deleted.
Don't know.
So I'm not really talking about the process. I'm just trying to find out what is the correct process and what people have success with, and then what kind of trust everybody's using that as having success with, because there's so many things about different trust people are doing. And I do have some trust, but I was afraid to put them forward and navigate it without knowing if those are the correct trusts. And my other is, I like the situation on the children and how we can do something about all these children going missing and being taken from American families from CPS, and the financial performance of the Title IV D, E, and F. We're incentivizing these funds because I can't seem to get anybody that wants to go after CPS and get copies of that audit, if you know what I mean. So I'm asking for any advice, any processes that have worked that people know. And I yield.
No, she on mute.
Can she still make sounds though?
I don't. The child. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
it's probably just for educational purposes only. We are only actors.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's for TT. That's only for TT.
Did she say that's for TT? Well, it seems like you're in the right place, Project. Just keep doing your research and stuff. Now, I mean, it just depends on what process that you're talking about for us doing.
Well, is there a process that you
That's not me.
go
That's not
with
me.
Not
that
you.
actually works to save these children? Because it's not just about me and getting money back for myself. I'm not looking for money back for myself at this point. I want to figure out a way to be able to get these children out of the custody of the pedophiles and everything else that they're taking away from good parents. So I think we all have a common goal, and working together is the only way. Each individually, us doing our own
Just
thing.
narrow down what court that you feel that's doing that, then contact the
family court.
commissioner, because that process sounds like a complaint process that needs to start from the head up.
Well, we are doing the complaint process, trying to do remedies that way, but it doesn't seem like they're doing anything. They're not following any rules or regulations or
Then
laws.
do a 211 and a 3949A. They have a whistle. The IRS got
Yeah,
it.
baby.
They would look
Yes.
at any investigation.
Okay.
That's what you need to do. That sounds like it. And
Because you're gonna need
Yeah.
somebody with
We
some
all need
heavy
to get
artillery,
down.
honey.
Possibly, if I do all these processes, I want to do something that is easy enough that the basic person can understand at even, 6th grade reading level, because this is so much over my head. And I've been studying law and different processes for about, 4 years now. But like I said, there's so many information, and I've been around wrong groups, and I just kind of use discernment going, something doesn't seem right here. And you guys seem all together. And I know Derek's got a lot of things together. So that's why I'm listening to you guys.
Yeah, but for something like that, you're gonna need some heavy artillery, baby. You one little person, we can't go kick the doors in like that. You're gonna have to bring in where the IRS regulates these businesses, and if they find anything dealing with something like that, then they know it's some money laundering and all that going on. It's
Right.
deeper than you.
Do I need to request their W-9?
You ain't
or
got to do
anything
none of
from-
that. Just
from
go
them?
and file your 3949A or your 211 form. That's all you do.
Okay, so I don't need to give them all notice. I did give an attorney notice, and
But they would request whatever evidence you have. They want you to send that evidence with your correspondence.
got you evidence as far as
Whatever
like-
evidence you have.